So, Bonia, thank you for doing this. It means a lot to me to be in your home.
I'm glad.
Okay, so the first question I have, just literally 1 minute. Just tell me, where were you born? Where have you lived in the different parts of your life?
I cannot tell it in 1 minute. I can just a minute.
It's not the story. I just want to know where are you from and where have you lived?
Okay. I lived in many places. I was born in Latvia, which is next to Peru. That is my question when people ask me on the airplane, where are you from? I say, Latvia. Where is it? Next to Peru. In Latvia, in January 16, 1923, in the city of Dvinsk, which is the Russian name of today's name, it is Daugavpils. Daugavpils. Daugava is the name of the river that goes through the city. Dvina is the same name, is another name of the Russian name of the same river. So in Russian it is Dvinsk, in Latvian it's Daugavpils. So if you look at the map, you will find that Daugavpils. I was born officially, in January 16, 1923. Unofficially, I was born sometimes in the beginning of December of 22.
And what city?
My name that was given to me, what is it?
Go ahead.
You go ask the question.
What cities have you lived in your life?
You crazy?
I'm just asking.
Just the names? I lived in Riga, the capital of Latvia. I lived in Uzbekistan, in the city of Kazakh, Kizil Orda, for a year during the war as a refugee. I lived I was in the army for 4 years, in the Russian army, and that I will not tell you where I was because it's not irrelevant. But I ended up in the officer school in Moscow, which I graduated in 1944 as an officer of the Russian army. From there, I was sent to Germany, where I was for a while in the city of Lignitz. Now it is Poland, and it's called the Lignitza. I was with the Russian army there. From there, I was sent to Vienna, where I was for a year as a Russian officer in the intelligence. Where I lived in Vienna is irrelevant, because I don't remember. And from Vienna, I escaped the Russian army and went to Poland. In Poland, I lived for a year and a half, basically, in the city of Lodz, which is one of the biggest cities in Poland. From Lodz, I went to Germany again, this time as a Jewish refugee, and I worked in the Zionistic movement as a madrich, as a person who organized choirs and performs in displaced persons camps. For 2 years, I lived in Munich, in Germany. In 1949, I made Aliyah. I went to Israel, where I lived for 11 years in a kibbutz called Netzer Sereni. Because of a crisis I went through in the kibbutz and disappointment, the way I was treated, I left for 1 year for America as a representative of the Jewish Agency, my official title. I came for 1 year and that time I was married to another woman who was an American citizen, American, and we went to her parents' home that was in Los Angeles, where we stayed. It means my wife, my former wife, my two children of the first marriage, Ada, who is now 57, 53, and Ophir, who would have been now 51, 49. We stayed in Los Angeles, and I stayed in Los Angeles for 7 years, till Fanchon and I, after we married, we were invited to, I was invited to become the music director in Temple de Her Sinai in Seattle. And I was in Seattle for 7 years. From Seattle, I was invited by Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati, who discovered me and chose me from among 30 candidates to be the first director of liturgical arts in Hebrew Union College. So from 74 till now, it makes 34 years I'm in Cincinnati.
You were going to say before, your given name?
Huh?
The name you first received.
My name, first I was received was Bonis. Bonis was the name of my grandfather that I never met. And Bonis, a variation of Bonis is Benush in Poland. And people say it has to do, it's the corruption of the Czech name Beneš. And Beneš was the first president of Czechoslovakia. And there's a city in Czechoslovakia called Benešov. Shur is a Hebrew name. Shur is a biblical name. In the chapter 16 of Exodus mentioned, and the children of Israel went from the wilderness of Shur to the desert of Sin. Shur means also to look straight, which I cannot, I'm cross-eyed. In the command in the American army is face on. In Hebrew it is lachazit shur. Shur is also a fortified wall. And shur is also to do with singing. Migvaot shur ashurenu.
So you know this project that I'm doing?
No.
Well, this is the Portraits in Faith. Right? The project I'm doing is called Portraits in Faith.
In faith.
Faith.
Portrait of faith or portrait in faith?
Portraits in Faith.
Portraits in faith, okay.
Okay. So most of the questions from here on out all have to do with what is true for you about faith, etc. Okay. So the first question that I ask people is, what is your earliest memory from your childhood or any time that has to do with faith or God or religion? What was your earliest memory?
I didn't believe in God. I argued with my grandfather when I was 10. I don't believe in the creation. I know how the creation was created, I said. Kant and Laplace, the French astronomers, figured it out in the 18th century, that a part of the sun was pulled away and that the planets came. I never prayed. My father never prayed. He went to the synagogue once a year to hear Kol Nidre. Since he couldn't buy a ticket to enter the big shul, he was standing outside and talking to friends. The only thing that I had for faith was my mother would put 2 candles on Friday night without blessing them because she didn't know the blessing. From the age of 11, I became a member of Hashomer Tzair, the youth movement called the young the young guard. It was a socialistic, Zionistic movement that educated people to go to Harshara, to preparation to become a kibbutznik, and then to go in Israel and to build a kibbutz. And I never prayed. In our kibbutz, in our movement, we never prayed. We even didn't kindle candles. It was everything was secular. So, and even when at the age of 10, I was supposed to be dead. I had inflammation of the lung, of my pleurisy. And I know I was dying because I remember 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock after midnight. I was lying in a bed. My father left me because he was too tired to sit with me. It was a big ward with 20 beds. No nurses, no medicine, nobody, nothing, dark. And I wanted to lift my finger and I couldn't. I was dying. But somehow I survived without praying. Even in that moment I didn't pray because I didn't know what prayer means. I never was trained. I saw only the light coming out from an open door, a wave of light. And I knew that, if I know now that I was dying, but I survived. When I survived, and in the morning came the doctor, Gordon, a Jewish doctor who later left for Israel. And seemingly they knew why I was vomiting all the time or why I was all the time coughing. Because they came with a container of, an empty container with a big, not wire, no, rubber, not pipe.
A hose, like a rubber
hose.
Yeah.
And put in the needle into my lung and took out 1 liter of pus. And my whole lung was gone. And he said, from now on, for the next month, you will drink only 1 glass of water a day. Not to bring any liquid in your body. And I was 10 years old. And you will not cheat, he said. And I did it. And I didn't pray. I didn't thank God. It just wasn't in my blood, my system. I was not trained to do it. My mother didn't say, oh, God, thank God that you survived. And after I was left from the hospital, my mother was commanded by the doctor to buy fat food, fat meat, to build up my meat tissue. And it was then 1933. 1933 started the gold crisis. We were very poor. My mother would go and buy, give me food, fat food to feed me, and would give me big piece bread with a huge pot of butter. And I didn't pray. And when 2 years later, I woke up again with swollen face, total swollen face, swollen hands. I had kidney infection, kidney. And I was totally swollen. And the doctor came and said, I can nothing do. Stay in bed for 3 months and eat diet food. You have to eat eggs and something not to get fat. And I didn't pray. And I didn't pray even in 1944, on January 14, 2 days before my birthday, when I was standing with my machine gun facing the German positions. And when bombs were exploding behind, and when there were rockets in the sky, not rockets, but it lights the whole kind of we call environment. You just the Germans would send like firework, and in that moment, 2 minutes or 3 minutes before I was wounded, I didn't say, "Oh God, save my life. I'll be a good Jew. I'll pray for you every day." I was thinking about something else. I was thinking how to remember this scene that I'm watching, the German positions, the explosion of the Minamyots, mine throwers, people getting wounded. I said, I have to remember to tell it to people after. And then I was wounded. And when I was wounded, I didn't say, "Oh God, thank you for wounding me in my tushy," that you didn't wound me in my hand. It wasn't my vocabulary. So when you speak about prayer, this was the greatest test for a person. If he believes in God or not. In God, the way we imagine it is, that you have to pray to God. It wasn't in my vocabulary, and it wasn't for many, many years, and it's still not in my vocabulary. Although I write the most magnificent prayer, because when I write, I feel for a moment, like I felt when I 4 o'clock in the morning, sitting in that room at the piano, playing, composing the last prayer of my Hallel Psalms, which I made sketches, yeah, sketch. I made 40, 50 sketches, all kinds of variations. Till 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, when all were sleeping, I found the right one. In that moment, I felt elation. People call it God. Some people call it inspiration. Whatever it is, that was a moment of holiness. But on a daily basis, I don't pray. But when I write music, I come inside the words. And the most truthful prayer come out from me, but not on a regular basis. But I will not say there's no God, but I will not say, "Oh, God, help me." Even now, when I broke when I cracked my hip, there was no prayer in me for God, "Oh, God, help me." It's not in my system. So I'm the worst candidate for your filming.
You said you won't pray to a God on a daily basis, and yet when you're writing music, there's something, did you say holy or sacred?
Then it comes to me a wave. It's a combination of somebody says it's inspiration. Somebody call it God. But in that moment, comes to me inspiration. You can call it God. You can call it inspiration, which I'm proud of it, because I don't write mechanically. Because every word what I write has a meaning.
So you have written so many beautiful compositions of prayer. What's the meaning of the prayer? What moves you to write beautiful music for prayers?
The text, the Psalms. In that moment, I have a transformation. But the transformation is not in intention to please God. This is the soul in me. You call divine soul. Is the one that dictates me.
So what is your concept of this divine soul?
I have no concept. I let it be where it is. I don't ask questions.
So tell me about a prayer I know you've written so much, but tell me about, if it's possible, a favorite or a prayer that you have written music for that is most meaningful. And share with me which prayer is this?
How can I select from my children one child and say he's the best? She's the best. No, I cannot.
So tell me one that comes to mind now.
We have many. Ironically, the most famous prayer of mine in my Kedusha. And the Kedusha is the Holy of the Holies. And I cannot tell you about the process of writing it because maybe it will answer your question. In 1981, a student whose name I forgot in this moment came to me and said, I have to give my final sermon. And the sermon is about a Hasidic rabbi in the 18th century who was a composer. I want only Hasidic music for that service. This was in 81. It was almost 81, 27 years ago. I says, okay, I'll write a Hasidic Kedusha. You know what Kedusha is? You know what Kedusha is. So this was on Monday. On Tuesday, I composed the Kedusha about 2 hours. I did it inspirationally. I don't remember my inspiration, but I had it. It's too far away. And on Wednesday, I rehearsed it with the choir. And on Shabbat, I did it. People didn't jump. People didn't scream, oh, Bonia, what a fantastic Kedusha. Nah. But I felt lousy. I felt so guilty. How dare I to take the most holy text of the entire Jewish literature, sanctification, in which the text speaks about one choir of angels stand to the left of the throne of God, and another choir of angels state from the right, and one sings to the other, Kadosh, 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 holy, 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 etc., etc. And I made it a simple folk song. I felt so guilty that I made fun of God, that I went to my studio, and in one day, Sunday, I composed a grandiose Kedusha for cantor, for choir, for congregation, for organ, for instrument. And on Monday, I had 2 of them. 2 Kedushas. But who will tell me which one to use? Both are gorgeous. So I invited Jacob Petrowski, the leading liturgist in the world of Jewish religion. Havav Shalom, who died in the 90s for unsuccessful heart surgery. Heart surgery. I bought him 2 Kedushas. One is grandiose and one is folksy. And I said, Jacob, which one do you like? And guess which one he liked? I'm asking you.
Well, I'm going for the one that became the most popular, the folksy.
You didn't know Jacob Petrowski. Jacob Petrowski grew up in Berlin, in Germany. In the age of 13, he was sent as a youth to England with the youth immigration that the Jewish organized to take away the young people from Germany. He was raised on Lewandowski and all the classical German composers. Grandiose music, organ, choir. His response was, the folksy one, folksy. This, the grandiose, that is fantastic. So I said, if Jacob Verhofstadt, the greatest authority of literature in the world, says it, it's sacred, it's holy. He leaves the room and they have a knock at the door. And Ariel Azriel, a rabbinic student born in Israel, who went through till the age of 13, 14 operations of his leg to overcome his polio that he had in his leg so he could walk. So they succeeded to make him limping, walk now with one leg, always schlepping it, dragging it. Aryeh Azrael comes in and said, Bonia, הקדושה שלך ששמענו בשבת היא פנטסטית. You understand Hebrew? Yeah. The kedusha that you heard, you did Shabbat is fantastic. Play us for a whole week till we will learn it. I have no tears. I said, okay. I played it for a whole week, and since then I cannot stop playing it. 81, 91, 2001, it is now all over the world. In Russia, they don't know another Kedusha. In Europe, they don't know another Kedusha, only mine. That's literally. In Germany, in Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, Latvia, everything's my Kedusha. In Israel, it became the Holy of the Holies. While the one that intentionally wanted to make the Holy of the Holies wasn't accepted. And I realized that the essential character in me is when I write music, I write to a source that somebody that listens to me. If I write dance music for function or I write literature, I write to a power that listens to me. People call it inspiration. Some people call it God. And I have this responsibility for every piece that I write. I can give my head. It doesn't serve my ego at all.
So God is your understanding of something greater is that which listens to you and inspires you?
I don't deny God, but I don't pray to him or to her. Even when I fell now down, I didn't say, oh, God, save me. Even now when I'm incapacitated, it doesn't come to my mind. It's not in my blood. I was never educated from my childhood. And I don't become a God believer because I have to go and pray. Because I show how people pray and I don't believe what they're saying a word. I saw in the Hasidim, the Orthodox, and I saw also in our students, they believe in it. I don't. They should stand up and shuckle because they saw in Israel, they were in Israel and they saw the Orthodox Jews. I don't believe in it. When I come to the synagogue, I don't pray with words, I just pray myself.
What do you say?
I don't say anything, I only feel.
And what do you feel?
An elation. Sometimes an elation, sometimes no. But this principle of writing prayers that are a reflection of the text, amplification of the text. This principle is my honesty with myself in music in general. I write also the same principle I apply to everything what I've done. In my new record, you will hear the Conidre that I have arranged for viola. You can call it God. I call it the most truthful interpretation of the melody. Because the honesty in me, the truthfulness in me that is in my heart, overflows every area of my creation, regardless if it's God or it is a secular piece, if I write it for fashion or for anybody else. And God is is a debatable section. You can say, we say now that there's a billion maybe cosmoses. You know what that's all. And I believe in it. And I believe that there are people like us with a different differentiation, and there's planets, but we'll never see them. People can say this, one person says God created it, but it's not God with a beard the way we were doing it. It is a force which is beyond our conception. But we cannot believe in it. We cannot talk to it. So we have to have somebody to talk to. So we write prayers. Because we need a father, we need a mother. But there are people who don't believe like me. No, they do believe. They're really doing it with all their heart. And the poets of the Hebrew prayer book, they really believed in everything. And in everything they were saying. And the psalmists, they were musicians who really believed in it. God bless them. Everybody has his own way to express his beliefs.
Has there ever been a time in your life where you felt like you needed to pray to a higher power?
I will never say that there's no God. But even now, when I'm sitting there with you, and I have a tushy, which is speaking, I don't pray. I don't have a need to pray. I talk to myself, to my inner voice, inner self, which I cannot explain to you what it is. I cannot explain to you. And I will not be able ever to explain to it. I believe in my destiny. I was supposed to be dead so many times. At the age of 10, which I told you, age of 13, which I told you, before I was shot in my butt, what I told you. Then there was other occasions. I went through open heart surgery. And before open heart surgery, on the night of open heart surgery, after I had a week of crying, which I cried, when I knew that I will for hours be on a pumping machine, blood pumping machine, and my life will be depending on the machine. When the moment I was told after the angiogram that I have to go through, I cried like hell. But after I was over the crying, I said, if I have to go through, I will take it as a celebration. And I made my open heart surgery a celebration. On the night before the surgery, 11:30 at night, my son, blessed be his memory, was now dead, shaved my chest. Fancy was with me, and I danced before taking the pill to go to sleep. But I didn't pray. I had no intention to pray. it would have been my last time in my life that evening. What can be a bigger test? Can you imagine a person before he's going to open heart surgery doesn't pray? Because it's not in my system. And when I woke up after the surgery, next day, Fenster showed me move out from the surgery room, and I was mumbling something, but I was unconscious. But when I woke up the next day, 7 o'clock in the morning, I didn't call Fenster. I didn't say, oh, Baruch Shepatrani, oh, Adonai Eloheinu, Olam Shetivra. No. I called up my president, Fred Gatchak, who visited me a day before in the Sunday. Sunday, he visited me in the hospital. And I called him up, I says, hello, Fred, I'm back. And he almost collapsed, he told me later. He thought I'm hallucinating. So I don't want, I want to understand not the versatility, not the variety, the plurality of my personality. But if you will give me that text, to write a liturgical text, I will totally be immersed in it. And it will be the most religious prayer in the world, in my eyes, because I'm not faking. I'm grateful that I have a body that survived so many illnesses, that I survived the war, that I was saved from a disease that killed many of my cousins. This was tumor, what's called colon tumor, colon cancer, colon tumor. Oh yeah, a tumor in my colon.
Oh, colon cancer.
Colon cancer, which was discovered by my doctor, and it was in time to cut it out 10 inches. And I visited radiation. I'm okay. Everything is okay. But then I find out that one cousin in Riga, in Latvia, had it. And when he found out it was too late, and he had the most terrible death, my other cousin in St. Petersburg had the same thing, found it out, and the Russian doctors butchered him. And this was the most dangerous part of my life, that I saved myself. And I'm totally healthy. I have to go, I cannot keep my stomach for 24 hours without going to the bathroom, or 48 hours. But that is good grace. I had pleurisy, the pleurisy I told you. I have kidneys is a kidney infection. Did I have kidney infection? Yes, something with my kidneys. But yes, I had a problem with my urination. I have a big prostate, and I was diagnosed by a doctor, and he gave me a medicine which drove me crazy. And I gave me medicine that I had to pee every 5 minutes, and I had to go to what's called in North Carolina, what's called the city. What's the North Carolina city?
Raleigh.
Raleigh. To be a consultant, a recording of my Kedusha by 3 guitarists. And I went on the plane, and on the plane I went to pee 5 times. I came there, and during the recording I was running every 5 times. It was a disaster. And then I went to, and at the same time was composing my piece that Fenster later used, Lebedike Neshama, if you saw the dance. Fenster's dance 2 years ago, for a string orchestra, for And I would run every half an hour. And I didn't say, Josh, твою мать. I didn't say, oh, блядь, несчастный. In Russian, I didn't say, shit, 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 shit. I just took it with patience, with, he believes, the hysteria. And then when I went to a doctor, gave me another remedy, and it was over. So I have somebody supervising me. Somebody says, look, somebody supervises you. Somebody helps you. He helps you with your wounding, helps you. I had two hernias. If I would be in Dvinsk my time when the people didn't know what to do, I would have a hernia so long. It was taken out in time. I have wonderful, wonderful luck. And so thank God the colon that was taken out was not, it was broken on, not broken in, what's called. It was broken, but it was not not radiated, it was not infected, or whatever the name is. And people wanted to give me radiation. And I instinctively felt I don't want radiation. Radiation. Chemotherapy. People didn't want to give chemotherapy. The doctors insisted like crazy, like wolves, they went after me. And I said no. And then I found out from a woman who told me she had the same thing. She would go every 3 months to check out what's her level of, what's called? Level of
The white blood cell.
Blood cells. And after half a year, nothing happened, she stopped it, and I did the same thing. And I didn't go to radiation. If I went through radiation, I would be finished. So you say good luck, but it doesn't come from me praying. I'm just blessed with a good body. And when I have to pray, in one musical composition of mine, is worth a year praying of a hypocrite. Or 1 year praying on a Rosh Hashanah of a Jew who comes and hits his breast, Chatani Pashadu. It's worth everything. One composition of mine in this of liturgy, because it's the most explicit, honest manifestation. And I can compare my compositions to the same text that others used. Mine is superb. If I would be God and I would see the other composition, says, oh, you guys, you're phonies. He's real. And I mean it.
What's your greatest wish?
To be in that state that I'm now, right now, to the rest of my life, even when my leg is not ayay. Even when my memory goes short to the materi.
When, go ahead. Were you going to say something else? Were you going to say something else?
No, short to the materi, it's in Russian, the devil's mother. I want Fanshan to be healthy, very healthy, because she's plagued by all kinds of sicknesses. She's my savior, she's my friend, she's my collaborator, she's the mother of my children. She's the greatest person I know on earth. And I love her with all my kishkes. And I want this relationship to go on forever. On this plane, I'm not the most successful person in the world. But I love whatever I am. And I love my children, whatever they are. And I love my wife for whatever she is. And I love all what we have now here. I want this state of affairs to stay forever.
When people see the portrait we're going to make of you, What do you want them to know about you?
Portrait.
In a minute, we're going to make a picture of you and Fanshan. When people see your picture, what do you want them to know about you?
Whatever the psyche will tell them. No message. Whatever they feel, that's it. We have a picture together. You know that. Did you see it?
No, but I'm sure I will. But we're going to make one now.
Okay. Any other questions you have?
No. Toda rabba.
Allo davar. Say allo. Al lo davar.
I thought we say ein davar.
No. Ein davar is nothing. Ein davar is different. Allo davar is exactly what you say in English.
It's nothing. Allo davar.
That's Israeli. Ein davar is more ancient.
Ah.
Ein davar, ein davar, ein davar, ein davar, ein davar. There's a song in davar.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I hope I didn't disappoint you.
No. I was very pleased.